Simon, so thank you for agreeing to this recording. It's really a bit of publicity for WES and the BSA about this new feature of WES Journal, the PhD showcase. So the aim of this is just to get a little interview with you to get your feedback on your experience with the editing process and the publishing process. I'm going to start with just giving some information on who I am and what my involvement in your paper and the PhD showcase is. So I'm Donald Hislop, Professor at Business School and the University of Aberdeen. I'm an editor in WES Journal. I'm involved in the PhD showcase with a number of others. So what is the PhD showcase? It's a new feature in WES Journal, and the aim of it is to facilitate publication of papers by students either recently finished their PhD or in the process of finishing the PhD. The papers are published to the exact same standards of all WES papers, but what's different with the PhD showcase is we offer extra support and extra guidance. And the assumption is with PhD students recently completed, they may not have lots of experience with the publication process, so some extra guidance support might be really valuable at help getting papers published. So we're applying the same WES quality standards, we're just providing additional support for early career academics who just finished PhD. Additional support means for us, authors have the opportunity of a meeting with the editor to talk through feedback and ask questions, and also in written feedback from the editor, greater detail is provided to explain and support the decision and what changes are required. Okay, so I'll now move on to talking to Simon about his paper. So the reason I'm interviewing Simon is Simon's paper is the first PhD showcase paper to be accepted. So when we advertised this, we've had a number of papers submitted. Some of them were reviewed and rejected. Some of them are under review at the moment. But Simon's paper is the first paper that's been submitted to the new PhD showcase section, which has been accepted. And I was the managing editor for that paper. So I'm just going to have a brief chat with Simon about the publication process so to start with, Simon, maybe can you give a little bit of background about yourself in terms of your PhD? What stage are you at? Have you recently finished it, or are you still doing it, etc.? And where did you do it?
Yeah, sure. So I just recently graduated about 2 months ago now.
Yeah.
And I was doing my PhD at the University of Zurich, where I'm still working as a postdoc now and applying for new things, see where life takes me next.
Okay.
Yeah, during my PhD, I was working on a lot of different topics in the sociology of work, and this paper was one part of it.
Okay, so before you submitted to WES, do you have other experience of publishing journal papers, book chapters at all?
It's kind of a long story. I wrote one paper before this one, and I wrote it like 4 years ago, the first draft at least. And it took me forever to get it published. In the end, it was published just 2 weeks before this WES paper. Right. So when I wrote this paper, the WES paper, I did not have any experience in publishing, actually, just in trying and failing a lot.
So in terms of submitting to WES, can you talk me through why target WES for your paper? Was that something you thought about, you planned to do because of the topic, or did the PhD showcase section give you some incentive to submit to WES? So talk me through your decision about why pick WES to target.
There's been a couple of reasons. First of all, of course, the topic, and my paper is almost a direct reply to one of the papers that was published in WES previously, so it was the obvious choice. But also, of course, the PhD showcase kind of gave me additional courage to try in such a high-ranking paper. I I don't know if I would have tried otherwise. So that's great.
Okay, all right. So in terms of sort of topic, I'm not going to attempt to summarise what your paper says, but it's testing Graeber's bullshit job model. So, why did you pick that topic, and how does it relate to your PhD topic?
Well, it's also kind of a long story.
That's fine.
When I was writing my master thesis, I think Graeber's book came out, and at that time I was thinking about different options for my career, and I didn't really know what to do with my life. So all I knew is that I kind of wanted to do something meaningful to me and to society, I guess. So at that time, I read Graeber's book, and that really had an impact on me. That kind of resonated very strongly with me. But then first, in my PhD, I was actually not working on this kind of topic. I was working more about classical labor market and automation stuff. And as I told you before, that didn't go very well in the beginning. So I was a little frustrated, and I came back to the bullshit jobs topic, and that felt like a more interesting or more promising alternative to me.
And you said when you read the Graeber book, you found it interesting or engaging. What was it about that book or that theory that kind of interested you or excited you?
Well, exciting is maybe the wrong word, but like the fact that so many people feel that they have socially useless jobs. This was kind of striking to me. That, I mean, we spend so much of our time working in these jobs, so feeling that a person's job is pointless, actually, that's like a really important thing for this person. I felt like this is a huge social problem that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. So is that the central focus of your PhD, is to test the Graeber model, or was it the paper you published in Wes? Is that just one small part of it?
It's one of 3 papers that are admittedly not very related. In the end, I had to make a connection between them, of course, as every dissertation does. But the connection was, in the end, only that it's about contested knowledge in the sociology of work. So different theories that are contested in the literature that I'm trying to resolve or advance in a way.
So you're doing PhD by publication and getting 3 publications and then writing a synthesizing summary?
The papers did not have to be published at the time of my defense, but submitted to a journal. Right.
Okay. All right. Okay. So in terms of your review process and your review experience, you said you've had one other experience of trying to publish. It took a long time and kind of challenging, etc. If you can talk through this of review experience with Wes, I mean, how did you find that valuable, useful, the type of feedback you got, etc., or is there things we could do to improve?
It was absolutely amazing, especially compared to my previous experiences. Previously, I was often very confused by what I was actually supposed to do with the paper to make it better or to make it more publishable. And with Wes, like especially from you, I got a very detailed feedback with like very clear points on what I should do to improve the paper. And this is something I very much appreciated. It was really great. And I also think it really made the paper a lot better in the end. So I'm super happy about it.
Good. No, I'm very happy. I think you've produced a really interesting paper, and I think you've really effectively engaged with all the feedback and used that to kind of develop and improve the paper. I'm very glad you found the review feedback useful. One of the things that we decided with the additional support is the editor should take a more detailed and clear role at explaining the feedback from the reviewers and making it clear to the writers, the authors, what we were looking for. Because I think sometimes editors maybe send reviews back to authors and the reviews might be contradictory and the editor doesn't explain what they want you to do. The editor just says, here's the feedback, please rewrite your paper. And we wanted to avoid that because I think, particularly for PhD students, that might be quite confusing and challenging when you get contradictory feedback, but you don't get guidance from the editor. So that was what you found useful, that I provided guidance on what I was looking for.
Yes, exactly. Like often before, I was in the situation that you just described, that reviewers had different opinions, and especially being new to this whole thing, I didn't have like the expertise or the courage to decide who of these reviewers is right and who is wrong. So to get this kind of guidance from a more experienced researcher is just great.
I'm genuinely curious with this question. One of the offers we make to PhD showcase authors is a meeting to talk things through. You didn't take up that opportunity. Was that because you felt the feedback was clear and you knew what to do, or is there a reason you didn't take up that opportunity?
Yes, the first time I got feedback from you, that was just very clear to me what I needed to do, and it worked out pretty well. So I was already happy with that. And then the second time, I think I sent you an email afterwards instead, but there were just 2 points that I needed some additional feedback on. So I thought that's enough. I don't need to bother you with a video call. But still, the offer is amazing.
All right. Okay. So I've asked all my questions. Is there any other points you have about the review process or the publishing process you would want to add for maybe somebody who's considering applying, who's considering submitting to the PhD showcase section?
Well, maybe I think it's really cool that you emphasize that the PhD showcase papers get through the same kind of quality check as all the other papers in WES. And I think I could really feel that because, as I mentioned before, I not only got detailed feedback, but especially the first time, I had to change a lot in my paper. So in the end, I really feel like it's not just like a special section for kind of okay papers from PhD students, but I feel like, it's okay that it's published in WES.
No, absolutely. That's a key thing for us. Marek Korshinsky and Laurie Cohen, who are the senior editors, they're totally supportive of this, but it's absolutely crucial that, all the papers published in the journal, including the PhD showcase, meet WES standards. And WES is a high quality journal, so, it's, with the PhD showcase section where there's a balance between, providing detailed supportive feedback, but ensuring we maintain the same standards. So I think you should be happy and proud that you've had a paper accepted and it's the same quality as any other WES publication.
I certainly am very happy. And that reminds me, maybe one additional thing to mention is I also got support in writing a press release. Tony was his name. I don't remember his last
name. The BSD, yes.
Yes, exactly. So that's, I've also not experienced that before. So that was also a great kind of support.
And has that produced any, was that press release done recently?
I think, it came out exactly a week ago, the English one.
Okay. And have you had any press uptake so far?
It's absolutely overwhelming.
Wow. Tell me about that then.
It's totally crazy to me. I'm just basically refreshing my browser every 5 minutes to see what's happening on the internet.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about the press interest in your paper.
Well, I actually wrote down some statistics just before we met. So just 2 weeks after the publication, my paper is already the most read in WES of the last 6 months.
Wow. Right. Okay.
measured by the altmetric score, it's already number 4 of all papers published in WES. So based on Twitter and newspaper articles. It made the front page of a national newspaper in Switzerland.
Okay, wow.
It even was for a short time in the top 10 trending papers of all social sciences based on the altmetric score. And I could go on for a while. It's just absolutely crazy.
No, that's fantastic. That's good. That's good to know, because I knew Tony was helping you with a press release, but I didn't know, you know, the outcome of that. So that's really good to know. I mean, if you get some press interest in your paper, and if that helps drive the number of people accessing it and reading it, etc., it's always good. It's good for the journal, and it's good for you as an author to get that sort of feedback and get that sort of interest in your paper. So,
okay, yeah.
Are you coming to it's the WES conference in a few weeks? Are you coming to Glasgow for the conference?
Unfortunately, no. I'm very sorry. I would have loved to come, but I can't, unfortunately.
Okay, no problem. Well, I'm going to finish it there, but hopefully, maybe we can meet up at some point. Maybe bump into each other at a conference, or if you're in Scotland, for work or holiday, look me up. It'd be nice to meet you and keep in touch.
Yeah, that would be very nice. Thanks.
All right. Okay. So I'm just going to.